first college athlete that I've had on this podcast. I feel like this was the perfect college athlete to have.
Sports has definitely taught me how to communicate with people. Sometimes you have to pull things out of people.
How has NIL helped to impact your business?
NIL.
Welcome to another edition of the Athlete's Wisdom Podcast, here where we will teach you how to build a business as a college athlete and also how to grow your marketing and your branding as well. So today we actually have an amazing guest. This is actually the first college athlete that I've had on this podcast, and this is Gabby Anderson. And I feel like this was the perfect college athlete to have, right? Because not only is she a black college athlete, right? She plays at Harvard, which I find absolutely amazing. So welcome, Gabby Anderson. How you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. Happy to be here. I did not know I was your first college athlete. Amazing.
Yes. I had a lot of business professionals. I've had a lot of younger athletes, but you're at my actual first college athlete. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Of course.
So for the audience who isn't familiar with you, right, can you just kind of give like a quick background of who Gabby Anderson is, where you came from, where you are now, and kind of how your journey has been?
Okay, I feel like who Gabby Anderson is a loaded question. I do a lot of things. I'm very happy to be 19. I own my own small business called Graffiti by Gabby. I do customized art. I started that over COVID and it's kind of taken off. I've done shoes for lots of really amazing people. I've done shoes for Sue Bird. So I make shoes for professional athletes everywhere. And it's really a passion that I kind of started just over COVID because I was bored and it blew up in my face and it's been absolutely amazing. I play at Harvard, as you know. That's a new thing. I just finished my first year and I can say that I really do love it. Love my school. I'm an athlete. I play basketball. I played basketball since first grade.
I can extract more out you as we go along, but I just kind of want the audience to kind of get more of a feel of who you are. So where are you from? Were you born or where did you reside?
So currently I reside in Columbus, Ohio, but originally I'm from Arkansas, and a lot of people don't know that, but I got my cowgirl boots on.
I saw.
Yeah, but I went to school at IMG Academy for my last 2 years of high school. So yeah, a little bit of Florida too.
You went to that school.
Oh yeah. Now IMG was an experience. Absolutely loved it.
I feel like that's a perfect segue to start at. What about IMG made it a nice experience for you? Because I've always heard of IMG as like the powerhouse football school. So how was that overall experience for you? Yeah,
IMG was a very unexpected experience. So it actually happened over COVID because the school I was going to in Columbus, actually they were online and I was struggling with online school and I needed somewhere else that was offline. And it just so happened that my mom knew somebody who knew the coach at IMG and I went on a visit and I was like, this is amazing. Why wouldn't I go here? Like you have to take the chance for this opportunity. It's very laid back in my opinion. It's hit or miss. So when you go to IMG, you are left to your own devices. So you're on campus and you stay there, you live by yourself. It's basically the college experience in high school.
Oh, it's a boarding school?
Oh, it's a boarding school, yeah. Because as I said, you are left to your own devices. And what made it so amazing for me is my coach, actually, Coach Shell Daly. She is amazing. Look her up. Her repertoire is absolutely ridiculous. Like, she is an amazing woman. And she kind of just built me up in the way that I found a new confidence in basketball because I played soccer and basketball for a long time. And I thought I was going to be a soccer player for the longest time.
For real?
Oh, yeah. I was deep into soccer. And so that's what I thought I was going to do. And eventually I ended up choosing basketball. So I was a little bit behind because I had poured so much energy into soccer. I'm not the highest scorer, but I do love defense. And that's one thing a lot of people don't take pride in that I do. So it was really finding my confidence in my sport and being able to be on my own and do things for myself that IMG really taught me be my own person. And I think that's why I loved it so much. And the people are amazing. Shout out my IMG girlies. I love them.
I like it. So how's IMG's basketball program? Because like I said, and like you said, they're known for football and yes, maybe they're sports, but they don't really talk about, or at least I don't see a lot about a lot of the other sports programs that they have.
Listen, IMG is actually really known in the tennis world. IMG has so many sports that you might not have heard about, but they're definitely on the map. So they just built a new basketball arena and it's gorgeous. If you thought the stadium was cool, go see the arena because it's real. The basketball program is great. It's tough. It's definitely tough. I've had my hardest practices at IMG. They are really going to push you. They're really going to push you. Lots of practices where all we did was run. And
so what are some fundamentals you've learned just in sports, right? Whether that's through playing it at a young age, playing it at IMG Academy, or even now playing at Harvard. What are some of the fundamentals in sports that have helped transition you into like the business aspect, right? Because I know you said you have Graffiti by Gabby. So how have some of those things kind of combined?
Sports has definitely taught me how to communicate with people, and not just in like, hey, talking, having conversation. I mean, really connecting with people and understanding that everyone functions differently. So you have to talk to people differently. Like sometimes I have a teammate that might be softer and she doesn't like to be yelled at and she doesn't take criticism well. And so oftentimes I've learned that you have to communicate with people in different styles. I think that's really helped me, especially because I do own my own business and I do work with people, and I am an athlete who's looking for NIL and have to talk to different businesses. So it's really nice to just understand that I know how to talk to people and communicate, and I can connect with everyone at different levels. And it's also helped me as I customize shoes, because when I'm making a custom design, sometimes you have to pull things out of people and you got to figure out like what makes them click. What is something that they need on this shoe that really represents them?
Okay, I like that. So throughout your NIL journey, how has that helped you in your business? In college, right? How is the NIL and just understanding that? And I'm sure this kind of helped you understand more of the business side of things. How has NIL helped impact your business?
NIL has been absolutely amazing for me. It's helped me pay my college tuition. And actually, I do a lot of things that are combined with my NIL and my business. So I'm very lucky in that I have something extra going on outside of my sport. So a lot of times when I do brand deals, I like to include some shoes I've done or include something about my business or art. And I think that's really helped me and progressed me. And just talking to these different businesses. So I ended up doing a project with Walmart through my business that led to NIL opportunities. And it's helped me as I've grown and continue to do business. So it's a lot of times more connections. And NIL has taught me how to make content. Content is actually a super hard thing to do. So you got to see what clicks with people. And I think NIL has taught me that. And it's great for businesses.
So kind of expound a bit more on your partnership with Walmart and how that was able to come into fruition and get you more NIL deals.
So last summer, I did a partnership with Walmart, and I basically just created end caps for Juneteenth. I actually ended up putting my face on there. It was over 10,000 stores or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, they're trying to do something new, something creative, because, you know, after the whole Black Lives Matter movement over like COVID, they were trying to move out towards.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're trying to support more Black owned businesses and things of that nature. And I got the deal, and I was super happy to have the deal, because if you don't know, like these founders, I know these ladies. These are powerful women. These are powerful men. These are powerful people, Black people who are definitely representative of our community. And I was just happy to be a part of the program.
I like that. And with it being able to help you gain more NIL opportunities, how did that happen?
I mean, my face was in Walmart. Some people saw it. Some people reached out, and it was just letting people know, like when you reach out to brands or you're trying to work on something, or it's great to say, hey, I worked with Walmart. Like, this is what I did with Walmart. This is how much they paid me. Let me do this for your brand. And this is how we can elevate your brand through that. So Walmart definitely was just a big staple, right?
So how important has partnering with the agency and having an agent been to your success in NIL? And how can some of the college athletes now possibly start getting some NIL deals of their own?
My agent kind of came about, again, because I went to IMG Academy, and William and Morris actually owned IMG before. Yeah, so I was very fortunate to get my agent in that I didn't have to go out and find them. They kind of found me because they came to campus, and I ended up just talking to them and asking them like, hey, what do you know about this NIL stuff? And they were like, we've seen what you're doing. We think we can elevate you. Let's talk about signing you up with an agent. And I love my agent. Shout out Cecil White. He's amazing. He's great. So like I would just go on to different shows and different interviews for free. But then he came along. He was like, no, know your self-worth. And it was really helpful, because then my price rose. And I didn't even know, like someone who's going to hold you accountable to make sure you're doing the right content and for the right price. And I really would encourage people, like, if you have the opportunity, you have to get the agent that fits with you. Cecil is wonderful for me, but that he might not be wonderful for someone else. It's really about your agency fitting with you, so that way they can elevate you from there.
Okay. I'm going to keep highlighting this, that you're a Black woman at Harvard. That's amazing in itself. But the fact that not only are you a Black woman at Harvard, but they don't have a lot of NIL resources and tools to help you all along that journey, but you've been still able to shine bright through all of this, get multiple NIL deals. And I feel like for the people that are watching, crucial part of what you should pay attention to, just from what I've observed so far, is how willing you are to go reach out to somebody rather than expecting it to come to you. Just from some of the research I've done as well in the NIL space, I've realized that the average NIL deal was about $3,500 at the time, anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000, but that's for every deal. a lot of the deals that are given are local businesses, right? So it doesn't have to be a Nike, a Gatorade, a brand. There are a lot of local businesses and brands in your community and just in your general surroundings that are still willing to pay NIL.
Yeah, NIL is very amazing. I think there's a huge stigma around NIL. As you said, some people think, oh, I'm not going to make that money. It's about how people connect to you and how people think about you. So
Exactly.
you can have an influence without being amazing at your sport, because sometimes you're just a good person.
Yeah.
Brands still are going to promote that.
Exactly. I feel like that just goes down to really show that more than anything, these businesses want a brand, right? They want something that people resonate with, right? I mean, think about it. All these famous people on TikTok and Instagram or whatnot, right? They make their money because they're engaging with their audience. Their audiences they love who they are, right? So it's not really about the actual, numbers you're putting on the court. It's more so the numbers you're putting up on social media. So how has your followers and how has your fan base kind of been supportive of things you've been doing through NIL?
I have found my fan base largely consists of people who just know me, people I've met. It's mostly just I meet people and I talk to them and they follow me and they follow my content. Those are the fans who are going to get your engagement and further grow your platform. Yeah. And so it's nice in that way, but I don't have that many followers. I have about 4,000 something on Instagram and all my other platforms are less than that. And if you look at a lot of other people, I mean, they have thousands and thousands of followers, maybe millions of followers, and people are like, oh, those are the people who are working with brands. But I mean, I work with brands too, and I have a small following, but it's more just about, as I said, engagement and your brand and things of that nature.
See, I know people who have, say, 4,000 followers that make a very large amount of money, and then people who have 20,000 followers who don't make as much money as the person that has 4,000 followers, right? And to even be more specific, both of these people essentially make their money using their page and their brand. Right. So it's all about, like I said, the engagement. I just wanted to kind of say that the biggest way to make money in NIL is to use your NIL, your name, your image, and your likeness. It's not about the skills, but it really just comes down to how you are as a person. Like, was the one thing that you took away from that entire event that really stuck with you?
Talk to people, like reach out, like actively going to someone, be like, hi, my name is Gabby Anderson. I go to Harvard. Actively advocating for yourself was something that was really big this weekend.
It's collaboration over competition, right? If you really think about some of the biggest brands in the world, they collaborate with other brands. It comes down to networking, right? Talk to whoever, because you never know what partnership that can turn to. You never know what collaboration that can turn to. And it doesn't even have to turn into something immediately. It can be a week from now, a month from now, a year. But it's all about building that relationship to begin with, because you never know where that other person's eventually be going. You might surprise yourself on where you end up going. What are your next steps in NIL?
How to promote yourself for the future, and asking you, what are you going to do with your NIL? And so I am looking to do something big. I really want to create my own NIL space. So I want to have my own saying. So when you see Gabby Anderson, I want them to think, oh, she's the one that does this, something very specific.
When it comes to your art, right? Have you ever thought about creating, say, an NFT project?
I feel like there has been some great success with it, but I'm still trying to figure out how it works. I don't want to just jump into something without knowing how it fully works. I don't want to mess it up, especially if it's my first time. I want to make sure it's right, and I want to make sure what I'm putting out there represents me.
I agree with that, but I will say just one thing I've learned from doing business is it's okay to mess up, especially when you're first starting off. How can they do everything, and how can they fit it in this, and how can I do all this? But it's really who, not how. So how have you been able to balance?
I think it is very necessary for me to lay out like why I'm going to some places. So like this NIL trip for the NIL summit, I was very much so like, okay, I'm going to create a lot of content today. Like there's a lot more knowledge to learn. Are there any tidbits or something you can give to me in the business space?
Build a team, and build a team with A players. Don't be afraid to let people go or give someone constructive criticism. Just you want to make sure you're building a successful team that's going to help you go far, right? Like I said earlier, it's who, not how. You want to make sure that no matter what you're doing, you're not only crafting a team, but you're crafting the proper systems as well. And another thing I would say is don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to actually, mess up on purpose, right? Because sometimes messing up on purpose, like you might not know the right answer, but you know the wrong answer. So just doing the wrong answer can still help lead you to the right answer later down the line, right? Because no matter what you do, you always want to look at the game tape, right? You always want to look at the film, even when you're doing podcasts, right? Like I'm going to look back at all the podcasts I do, and and look at, where I can be better on, or where I messed up at, or, you know what I'm saying? So it's always about building a team, then making sure that you're building the right team, and then finding the right people to help you kind of build out your dream.
I do have one more. Where do you see the podcast and yourself going in the future?
I do see this as being the #1 college athlete podcast when it comes to business, marketing, and branding. I guess this answer can actually kind of give you a little bit more advice. One thing I've realized in business is there is no successful business that did it quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So in creating content, right, because you have a very lively and energetic and bubbly personality, which is amazing. Have you ever thought about maybe starting a podcast of your own to kind of help athletes, especially maybe in the Ivy League space with NIL?
I have thought about starting a podcast. I think where I didn't do it was specifically just because I didn't have that much time to do a podcast.
Stopping you from getting that going for real?
It had a rocky start. I actually started it not too long ago, and it had a bit of a rocky start because, in my opinion, I don't think I partnered with the right people to start it out. As I said, sometimes you fail, but it really helped me understand like what I wanted this to be specifically. And now I know what I don't want it to be. And so I'm a little bit more cautious about what I'm doing with it because this is my brain baby and I'm so excited about it. But I really want it to be more focused on the athletes and who they are. And I don't want to take advantage of athletes and put out something that doesn't represent their narrative. So always think about who you're working with and if their morals match up with your morals, because that is a big thing.
I like that. And to close it off, is there a final piece of advice that you can give any college athlete watching this, or maybe an up and coming college athlete in regards to, just navigating the NIL space and how to get more deals or be more successful with deals?
My biggest advice is don't be scared. Like, don't be scared to talk to someone. Don't be scared to reach out to a brand. I mean, yes, you might get some no's. Some people might completely ignore you altogether, but you never know where that's going to lead us. Sometimes all it takes is mentioning your name, because they might not say something like that week or the week after that, but all of a sudden they're sitting back and they're like, oh, who was that girl who came up to me and was like, oh, that's Gabby Anderson. Oh, maybe we should work with her. Or they start something completely new. Sometimes people leave one job and go to a whole different one and they're like, I need her. This is the girl I need. And we didn't get her at the other place, but we need her here. And so I think that's really important. Just putting yourself out there and don't be afraid. In my opinion, there's not much to fail in the NIL space right now. It's brand new. There's so many things still to be done.
You can be a quote unquote test dummy for one of the new things, but it can work out perfectly for you, right? So, and I want to add one tidbit onto that before we close out. I can't remember where I saw this from, but basically it helped me in networking with people. And I feel like this can, like you said, for one, reaching out to people, right? Just introduce yourself. But then sometimes people are afraid to follow up, right? They feel as if they might be bothering somebody. So one thing that I learned was it's called the Hot 50 list. And basically, you just you create a list of the 50 most influential people who can help in your brand, business, life, or whatever. And then
I've seen this.
Then every quarter, so once every 3 months, right? Once a season, you just kind of send a message to them, just like, and it's not to ask them for anything or anything like that. It's just to kind of keep yourself on their radar so they know who you are. So like you said, maybe they go to a different company or whatever, or factor. They knew of you. Now they starting to like you because they're like, this is just Gabby's a very nice person. She always texts me just to check up on me or just to say, hey, and then boom, I think of a business opportunity and it's like, oh, wow, now I'm about to, think of Gabby to do it. So, but no, I appreciate you coming on, Gabby. It truly was. I wish we had more time because we could honestly continue talking about all of this more and more.
Because I can talk all day.
Exactly. But I truly appreciate you coming on. For the people who aren't familiar with you, can you just let them know where they can find you at on social media, websites, if they want to get in contact with you?
You can find me on all platforms at Gabby Anderson 04. And then I have a website called graffitibygabby.com. It's real easy, 2 F's in graffiti. Some people mess that up.
1 T. Thank you all so much. And look, I appreciate you all for tuning in to another episode of the Athletes Wisdom Podcast. If you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and follow Gabby and make sure you like and subscribe to this video as well. And look, make sure you stay tuned because we have so much more amazing guests that's going to be coming on, and we'll see you next time. Let's go.